Michelle Bachmann is, who is a representative, of course, from Minnesota. Michelle Bachmann has been advocating violence, and she has. There are so many of these right-wingers who actually advocate gun violence. I talk about taking right-wingers off into the woods and blistering their asses for them, but I think it's a little bit different from what Bachmann and some of these other people on the right are so quick to suggest, that we're under siege, that the decent people in this country have to participate in a revolution that has nothing to do with constitutional guarantees, has nothing to do with what the original, a revolution is usually what happens when you are oppressed. Michelle Bachmann, being a white woman in the U.S. Congress, and a well-off white woman in the U.S. Congress, is probably better positioned than is better positioned than billions upon billions of people on this earth. This woman has about as much room to bitch about anything as I mean, she has no reason to complain about anything. She's an instigator. She's a freak, and I don't know why people in her district send her to Washington, maybe for the geek value. I have no idea. But she is one of those advocates of violence. And Prairie 2 sent in a P.S. He says, you can take note that almost every one of these shooting sprees, that the shooter had recently lost his job. Canada doesn't have this problem, despite more guns per capita, because if you lose your job there, it's not the end of the world. Here we have a policy of making everybody scared to death all the time. No health care, no union to protect you from the bullies, overwhelming debt, your whole industry being outsourced, on and on. I'm surprised, Prairie 2 writes, there aren't more of these. What do you suppose will happen tomorrow? Yeah, Michael Moore pointed that out in, was it Bowling for Columbine? That per capita gun ownership in Canada is greater than here. And yeah, the reason that it's not that the Canadians are different from us, I don't think, in the sense of what percentage of that population is wacko as a percentage of this population. I mean, people with mental problems, I guess I shouldn't say wacko, that's not politically correct. People with mental problems, especially in English-speaking countries that have essentially, don't send me emails and tell me I'm crazy, essentially the same history. Same geographic, the longest unprotected border on earth is the United States and Canada. Canada is provides us with more oil than Saudi Arabia. I mean, just on and on. There's not a whole lot of difference. I'm sorry, Canadians, except in foreign policy, there's not a lot of difference between Canadians and Americans. In culture, in outlook, in, all that stuff. Come on, you know what I mean. Don't flood me with emails from Canada now telling me, hey, we don't want any part of it. You know what I'm saying, damn it. And as Michael Moore pointed out, this doesn't happen. And the reason, as Prairie 2 says, it reaffirms, yes, we have people going berserk in this country. Because, did you see that video the other night? They played it and played it and played it. The white guy, in his 30s, mid-30s, walks into a convenience store with his little girl, his 7 or 8-year-old daughter, and pulls what it looked like a police service revolver. It's a massive weapon. He pulls it out and robs the clerk with his kid standing there. And they had it, they captured the audio, and he's saying, I'm out of work. I've got to take care of my daughter. Well, obviously that's not the way to do it, but desperation. What are you going to do? What do you do? We live in a country that will kick your ass to the curb as just so quick. If you want anything, any little bit of the social safety net in this society, in the United States, you have got to jump through more hoops. You have got to do more backflips until finally, and the system is set up this way since it's been under assault for the past 50 years by Republicans, by conservatives. The system's set up to make you do backflips until you give up, until you say to hell with it. And then a certain percentage of us, after we say the hell with it, will pick up a gun and go decide to kill innocent people. Of course, not decide. That's not a that's not a decision. It's a crazed reaction. I honestly don't believe there are any thought processes that go into that. I'm not talking about two teenagers who decide to go nuts inside a school and start shooting their classmates. You know what I'm referring to. It's astonishing. Astonishing.